Hi, my name is Kerry Brooks. I'm at Mortgage Express. We're located in Northern California, but do mortgages throughout the state of California. I've been doing them myself personally for over 25 years. I've noticed that the same questions often come up both from real estate agents and from borrowers as we go through the process of getting a real estate loan. As a result, I've decided to do this series of videos, this is one in this series, to help answer some of those questions. I hope you find it helpful and useful. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Today I want to talk about the difference between the interest rate and APR. I've been asked many times to explain the difference between these two, and honestly it's extremely difficult to do if you don't know quite a bit about math. The government, in its attempt to help consumers better understand the cost of loans and being able to compare them, came up with this formula for APR a few years back, and now you'll see that with any kind of quotes that you get for loans, for mortgage loans, because it's required by the government. Well, I'm going to give you an illustration here with a $300,000 loan. I've done a little spreadsheet to make this a little bit easier to calculate and also to see. On the cost for the APR, there's a list of costs that the lender is supposed to use. I've noticed that they're not always consistent in doing this, and so you'll see some variation as a result of that. But the other thing that's strange about calculating APRs is they don't use all the cost of getting the loan. For example, for a typical loan of $300,000, I would expect closing costs to run somewhere in the neighborhood of, say, $2,500 to $3,000 thereabouts, if that's with 0 points. With the APR, they would only use part of those costs to make the calculation, so I'm going to use a number of $1,200 for this purpose. By the way, this is what causes the APR to be higher than the interest rate. You'll notice here I've got a 3.5% interest rate, and I'll explain why the APR is higher when the costs are included. So we have 3.5% rate, 30-year amortization. That should equal $1,347 per month. Well, to calculate the APR, what we do is we take the loan amount less the cost that the APR allows, and so we end up with a net over here of $298,800. In order to make the APR calculation, if you have a calculator that has amortization built into it, what you do is you take the $298,800, not the $300, put it in at this payment of $1,347 for 360 months, and you'll come up with this rate per year. And so what it is it's taking the original loan amount minus the cost, but using the same payment to calculate how you back into what the interest rate would be, for that lower loan amount. This gets even more complicated when it's a mortgage, if it's FHA financing, or if you have mortgage insurance, because as part of the cost they will include the upfront mortgage insurance. And so, as an example, on an FHA loan, you'll see the APR way higher than the interest rate because of including that upfront MIP. You do that whether or not that MIP is paid upfront by the borrower, which is kind of strange, but that's the way it is. So hopefully this gives a better understanding of how APRs are calculated. If you know a little bit more about math, what this is it's the internal rate of return of this negative number with this 360 payments of this amount. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions or would like to discuss it further or have me calculate an APR for you, feel free to give me a call. You can reach me at 800-272-6688 extension 101. My name again is Kerry Brooks. Thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye.